Jessica was part of the fiasco that allegedly made Princess Catherine cry around Meghan's tacky wedding. If the rumors are true, shame on you.
She didn't whisper it in private. She didn't text it to a friend. She said it out loud in a ballroom full of celebrities. According to multiple sources at the event, Canadian stylist Jessica Mulroney, once Meghan Markle's closest friend and most loyal defender, stood beneath the chandeliers of an elite Toronto wedding and finally said what she'd kept buried for years. "I regret ever becoming friends with Meghan." It wasn't a vague comment or cryptic quote. It was clear, sharp, deliberate, and the room reportedly froze.
I'm here to discuss Jessica Mulroney, Meghan's former BFF, 100% Markled, by the way. Now, I want to start off by saying that divorce and separation are horrible, and I'm so sorry for Jessica's children.
The guest list that night included the likes of Drake and LeBron James, but it was Jessica's voice, overheard during a cocktail hour conversation, that stole the spotlight. That single sentence marked the final breath of a friendship that once shaped royal headlines and defined Meghan's North American rise. And according to insiders close to Jessica, it wasn't just regret, it was a warning. Sources say Jessica's public admission didn't come out of nowhere. It came after months of emotional unraveling behind the scenes.
Team Catherine, if they're not true, I will be your loudest defender. Just reach out to me and let me know what the truth is. But back to the being Markled of it all. News broke this week that Meghan's ex-best friend, Jessica Mulroney, split from her husband, Ben, after 16 years of marriage.
The collapse of her 16-year marriage, the weight of raising children through a public scandal, and the one silence that cut deeper than all others, Meghan Markle's. Insiders claim Jessica waited for a text, a call, any gesture from the woman she once styled for her wedding to a prince. But nothing came. And in that silence, something inside her broke. After years of private support and fierce loyalty, she realized the friendship was over and had been for some time. One guest at the wedding told Page Six that Jessica looked like she was releasing something she'd carried too long. This wasn't a tantrum, this was closure.
Meghan's friendship with the pair definitely came with some perks, like relevance. At the height of her friendship with the Mulroneys, Meghan was still calling paparazzi, begging them to catch her outside of her yoga studio. According to Page Six, Jessica is no longer wearing her wedding ring.
For those unfamiliar with the timeline, Jessica wasn't just another Hollywood +1 in Meghan's orbit. She was the blueprint. She styled Meghan's rise from cable TV actress to duchess. Her kids were in the royal wedding. Her husband, Ben Mulroney, was once Canada's most prominent entertainment anchor. The Mulroneys helped give Meghan her first taste of elite social access in Toronto long before she became the Duchess of Sussex. But after a race-related scandal in 2020 involving influencer Sasha Exeter, Jessica's world began to crumble. And Meghan, according to sources, vanished without a word.
Most resentful of Jessica because her star began to rise after the royal wedding, despite Jessica already being so well connected thanks to her husband and his family that had previously opened multiple.
What began as distance turned into detachment. What had been sisterhood transformed into silence. This recent wedding confession, sources say, was more than just drama. It was a public rejection of everything Meghan stands for. Because in the world of celebrity friendships, optics are everything. And for Jessica to say that in front of those people, it was a message to Meghan and to the world, I'm done protecting her. And according to insiders, Meghan is furious, not because of the loss, but because she can't control the story anymore. And this time, the silence speaks volumes. Sources close to Jessica Mulroney say the real fracture didn't begin at that wedding. It began 5 years earlier on a royal stage watched by millions.
Meghan Markle, she became jealous, is what I understand. Or what does Maureen Callahan always say? Maureen Callahan always says, like, it's my opinion. Or she says something cute. A source told
Meghan's 2018 wedding wasn't just a global event, it was a turning point in Jessica's life. As her children walked down the aisle behind Meghan and cameras captured every angle of her curated image, something began to shift. One insider who worked with Jessica during the planning said it stopped being about friendship and started being about control. Meghan wanted every flower petal in place. Jessica was a bridesmaid, a planner, and a prop, whether she knew it or not. The pressure of managing Meghan's vision, the scrutiny from palace aides, and the demands of working under royal watch left Jessica emotionally frayed. She was exhausted, the insider shared, and Meghan didn't even notice. But that exhaustion only grew as Meghan's fame exploded.
Age 6 Jessica was upset that she couldn't get a job after Meghan dumped her. She's become a toxic socialite. However, others shared real sympathy for the stylist and revealed at one point that
Insiders claim Meghan stopped returning Jessica's calls. Social invites faded, and the woman Jessica once called her sister became unreachable. Publicly, Jessica maintained the facade. Privately, the messages were one-sided. She felt ghosted, says one friend, but the final betrayal came in 2020, when Jessica became entangled in a highly publicized online spat with influencer Sasha Exeter. The scandal, centered around race and privilege, sparked immediate backlash. Brands pulled partnerships. Jessica's career flatlined overnight. And Meghan, who had built her new public identity around racial justice, was nowhere to be found. Not even a word of support.
He quit his job to support her. Ben told a friend at the time, I would wake up and Jess wouldn't be in bed and my mind would go to the worst place.
Insiders close to the situation say Jessica was stunned. She believed Meghan would understand the nuance, or at least offer a behind-the-scenes message of support, one source said. Instead, Meghan went radio silent. She didn't want to be associated with anything that could tarnish her brand. And that's when, according to those sources, Jessica realized what her role in Meghan's life had always been: useful until risky. Behind the scenes, friends say Jessica spiraled. Her once bustling social calendar evaporated. Her TV appearances dried up, and at home, her marriage began to crumble. Her husband, Ben Mulroney, himself under pressure from the fallout, eventually stepped away from his own television career to support her. Meghan didn't even send a message. Not publicly, not privately. And that silence wasn't just personal, it was strategic.
These two are clearly not friends anymore. It's Jessica's face on the phone when Meghan is conveniently recording her own engagement, or should I say second engagement, but Jessica is nowhere to be seen elsewhere.
Meghan was building a brand, one industry insider said. She couldn't afford to be linked to a scandal, even if it involved her best friend. Jessica, for her part, stayed quiet. For years. No interviews, no public rants, just distance. But insiders now say that silence was never forgiveness, it was survival. And now, with her marriage unraveling and her inner circle shrinking, Jessica's mask has dropped. The friendship is dead, and she's not hiding it anymore. Insiders reveal that the Toronto wedding, where Jessica broke her silence, wasn't just a social affair, it was a calculated statement. She knew the people who'd be in that room, one source told ET Canada. She knew the press would hear about it. She wanted Meghan to know it was over, and she wanted everyone else to hear it too. That's not bitterness, that's intent. Sources close to Jessica say the comment wasn't made in a drunken whisper or accidental slip. It was delivered calmly during a conversation about loyalty and friendship. Jessica didn't raise her voice, one attendee shared. She just said it plainly. I regret ever becoming friends with Meghan, and nobody challenged her, because they said everyone already knew. The comment has since ricocheted through elite circles, sparking renewed scrutiny into Meghan Markle's pattern of disappearing from friends' lives the moment things turn inconvenient. Jessica's fallout is just the latest entry in a growing list. From her estranged father to forgotten college roommates, Meghan's past relationships seem to expire with alarming frequency. It's always the same, one former associate noted. She climbs, she shines, and then she cuts ties. But Jessica's case cuts deeper, because she was integral. She wasn't just in the room, she helped build the room. She shaped Meghan's image, introduced her to Canada's elite, and gave her a soft landing as her relationship with Prince Harry went public. What's more, Jessica didn't just lose a friend, she lost her career. Multiple sources say that after the Sasha Exeter controversy, Jessica attempted a quiet comeback in the fashion space. But without Meghan's implied endorsement, doors remained closed. One source close to Canadian PR circles said the brand damage wasn't just from the scandal, it was from being cut off by Meghan. That silence was interpreted as guilt by association. Even Jessica's longtime contacts began distancing themselves, and while Ben Mulroney publicly supported her, insiders say the private toll was massive. He was trying to hold the family together while Jessica was being erased in real time, one friend said. But what really broke Jessica, according to sources, wasn't the backlash. It was Meghan's cold indifference. Meghan didn't even reach out when Jessica and Ben separated, one insider confirmed. No message, no sympathy, nothing. At a time when Jessica's world was crumbling, her marriage, her public image, her mental health, there wasn't even a whisper from the woman whose rise she once helped engineer. That's when Jessica made a decision. She would no longer protect Meghan's reputation at the expense of her own pain. And that wedding, sources say, was her line in the sand. Public, intentional, final. Sources close to the Mulroney family say Jessica's decision to speak out came after one final attempt at reconciliation, one that was ignored. In late spring, amid rising media speculation about her crumbling marriage, Jessica reportedly reached out through a mutual contact, hoping Meghan would at least acknowledge what was happening. But insiders claim Meghan never responded. She knew, said one source close to both women. She was aware Jessica's life was falling apart, and she chose silence again. That silence wasn't just emotional distance, it was calculated branding. Meghan, insiders allege, didn't want to be connected to a woman now labeled by tabloids as a toxic socialite and a PR liability. And that's when Jessica knew the friendship wasn't just dormant, it was dead, buried, forgotten. What makes this unraveling more brutal is the fact that Jessica helped orchestrate some of Meghan's most iconic public moments. From wardrobe styling to crisis communications during the early press firestorms, Jessica had always played the fixer. But according to fashion industry sources, Meghan hasn't spoken Jessica's name in over 2 years. Not once, not publicly, not even in private industry conversations where Jessica's name would naturally come up. It's like she never existed, one stylist in Toronto said. And that's the part that really hurt Jessica. She didn't just lose a friend, she was erased from the story she helped build. That erasure has left a trail of emotional wreckage behind the Mulroney's gated doors. One family friend said, "It wasn't just the marriage ending, it was the realization that the most famous person Jessica ever helped acted like she never mattered." But now, that silence is breaking, and Meghan's Hollywood persona is cracking with it. Industry insiders are reportedly reassessing their view of the Duchess, especially as her inner circle continues to shrink. There's a growing unease in elite social circles, one source said. People are asking if she could cut off her best friend like that, what would she do to anyone else? Meghan's brand was built on loyalty, kindness, and compassion. 3 pillars now being questioned in light of Jessica's public rejection. Some are calling it the Mulroney effect, a ripple that could impact Meghan's ability to form or maintain alliances in both Hollywood and philanthropy. And the timing couldn't be worse. With multiple projects rumored to be in limbo and whispers of tension inside Archewell, Meghan can't afford another PR hit. But that's exactly what Jessica's rejection has become, a high-profile confirmation that Meghan's friendship may come with an expiration date. And the real twist? According to multiple insiders, Jessica's not done talking. While she hasn't spoken to the press directly, friends say she's been open behind closed doors about the betrayal, about the silence, about the emotional toll. And if even half of what she's shared with those friends reaches the public, Meghan's narrative of loyal sisterhood may finally implode, on her terms or not. According to insiders close to Jessica, her recent public rejection of Meghan isn't the end of the story. It's the beginning of a larger unraveling. Word inside Canadian social circles is that Jessica has begun meeting quietly with journalists, not to tell all, but to correct the narrative. She's not selling a scandal, one source clarified. She's finally protecting her side of the story. Meghan had the global platform, but Jessica had the history. What's emerging now is a picture of a woman who spent years carrying the burden of a friendship that, in the end, only flowed one way. And as more details trickle out about Meghan's silence during Jessica's marriage crisis, industry insiders are bracing for impact. "This isn't a one-off betrayal," said one entertainment PR executive. "It's part of a pattern, and Hollywood is starting to notice." Meghan's inner circle has become eerily quiet. Gone are the group vacations, the public shoutouts, the brand collaborations with close friends. In their place, controlled content, tight messaging, and a PR wall higher than ever before. "She's isolating," said one former collaborator. And whether she realizes it or not, that isolation is visible. As Jessica's rejection reverberates through elite circles, others are beginning to feel emboldened. Insiders hint that at least 2 other former friends of Meghan's, one from her Suits days and another from her early UK charity work, are considering speaking publicly. And if that happens, Meghan won't just be facing a narrative about a broken friendship. She'll be facing a reputation collapse. But perhaps the most damning detail isn't what's been said, it's what hasn't. Meghan Markle, known for her carefully crafted public statements and well-timed interviews, has remained completely silent. No denial, no clarification, no acknowledgement. "That silence," one source said, "feels like a confession." For Jessica, that silence was louder than any tabloid headline. She didn't want revenge. She wanted recognition. A phone call, a moment of humanity. She got nothing, and now she's returning the favor with brutal clarity. In the end, this isn't just a story about two former best friends. It's a story about image versus intimacy, branding versus loyalty. Jessica Mulroney once helped Meghan Markle become a duchess, but Meghan Markle, in Jessica's time of need, became a ghost. And for those watching from inside the walls of Hollywood and Windsor alike, the message is clear. Alliances built on ambition crumble fast when tested by real life. Meghan may still wear a royal title, but in the court of human connection, Jessica's final verdict has been delivered. And the crowd is listening. That's the tea on Meghan and Jessica. What do you think really happened behind the scenes? Drop your theories in the comments, smash that like button if this stunned you, and don't forget to subscribe for more celebrity secrets. Click here for another story of friendship, fame, and fallout you won't believe.